Hello once again. Welcome back to my weekend series with World War One aerial combat. And right now we are in a British aircraft. I will be honest. This is the least liked aircraft of mine. Meaning I don't really like it. Look, he actually sits on a wicker chair. No, but you have to admit the cockpit is really well done. No, maganda yung cockpit. You can actually see the Lewis gun and spare ammunition. Ayan, there are how many? I guess that's three extra mags, drum mags, and then wala na yata. But I do believe in some DH2s may extra, no. If you want to see how a Lewis gun operates, I highly recommend the YouTube channel Forgotten Weapons. Si ano no? The Gun Jesus, si Ian McCollum. May maganda siyang mga episodes that show you how the Lewis gun operates. Now that drum magazine is very unique. So, what does the Airco D.H.2 looks like? It is basically a pusher plane. You know, in R.C, when talking about R.C, I really like the concept of a pusher plane because naturally, if you crash your R.C plane, usually you crash it nose first, and when the prop is out in front, you have a tendency to ruin the prop. But with a pusher plane like this, hindi nasisira yung prop. Maybe from the mechanics perspective, the DH2 was probably great, especially if the mechanics were dealing with newbie pilots, no? Kasi if you crash and you crash in or crash land nose first, then masisave yung engine. The engine won't be that damaged. However, if you're being chased by an enemy pilot, the engine is very much exposed, even the propellers. So it's also a disadvantage. And as you might have guessed, I'm chasing an aircraft that was also, how do you call this? This aircraft, that is a German aircraft. It's very famous. It's called the Eindecker. So that's the Eindecker E.III. And this was during the period known as the Fokker Scourge. Because the Fokkers, the Eindecker E.III.s, were wreaking havoc on the two-seaters of the British armed forces, no? They had a lot of losses because of this. Because at this point in time, the Germans perfected. Okay, let's switch over to the Eindecker. The Germans perfected the so-called synchronization apparatus. What that does basically is, if you look carefully at the front there, the machine gun is actually firing through the propeller blades. So before, when they didn't have the interrupter gear, that was very difficult to do, no? That was very difficult to accomplish. In fact, if you do that without interrupter gear, you're going to shoot your own propellers off. So the Germans perfected that technology and used it effectively in this platform, which is the Eindecker, no? Fokker E.III. So let's unpause and watch this action unfold. This is in slow motion. So I'm going to take a few shots, and going back to the cockpit of the let's go back to the cockpit of the Airco. Wait, teka, mali. Where are we? Oop, that's wrong. There. Okay, now we're back in this cockpit. How do we get back? Ayun. If you notice, there's no propeller. Kaya nga, this is how the British solved the issue. There is no propeller in front of the DH2 kasi it's in the rear. So the pilot has a clear line of sight to the target. So this apparently was the idea behind the DH2, that a pusher plane actually makes more sense because the pilot has a clear, and he won't have to worry about yung interrupter mechanisms or stuff like that. It would be a simpler system for this aircraft. However, this particular arrangement lent to a slower and less maneuverable aircraft. Maybe because of the design. Itong V-shaped, if you can call it a fuselage, this framework for the tail section where you have the vertical stabilizers, actually mas dorsal, ano nga ba yung term na? Hindi, dorsal is up eh. Mas ventral yung orientation ng rudder, no? And actually there's the vertical stabilizer per se is non-existent. It's just that little protrusion. And then you have the horizontal stabilizer and the elevators, no? So this lent to a design that's not very I don't know, it's not very effective in aerial combat. Kaya nga, I had a bit of a hard time trying to catch up with this Eindecker. He was very maneuverable, and you will see it now if I unpause. But I managed to get into his 6 and I've started firing. And this is the weakness of monoplanes. Uy, may dirigible doon, no? That was my second volley. And I believe I will get him with my third volley. Ayun. That is the problem with these monoplanes. Look at that wing pass me by. Yung piece ng wing niya. That's so realistic. This is why I like Rise of Flight. And there he is. He's going down. Going down. That's the problem with monoplanes back then. I mean, his rudder and horizontal stabilizer pieces are still breaking off from his aircraft. By the way, if you heard that, the thing about this aircraft is, yung D.H.2, it doesn't have a throttle. Boom! Wow, fiery death. Puno pa ng fuel eh. Ayun yung debris niya, going down. Walang mga throttle itong early aircraft. What they had was a blip switch, and every now and then you would hear the engine stop kasi I'm pressing the blip switch. That basically just starves the engine of fuel, and thus it acts as like a crude throttle, no? It's the crude throttle system for these early aircraft. Uy, muntik ko nang tamaan yung yung piece of the wing there. Rise of Flight. So enjoyable still, even though in IL-2 Great Battles, the World War II sim already incorporates World War I aircraft via the Flying Circus DLCs. However, you have to buy that. Ayan, nag-blip switch ako. And it so happens that since I've been collecting this, since I'm going to attack the balloon. Look at that. Let's watch this. I'm attacking the balloon there. Yeah, but hindi kasi incendiary rounds yung dala ko, kaya look at that. I almost crashed. And they're winching the balloon down, I think. That's what's happening here. They're winching down the balloon. But I think I'm going to be look at that. That's the piece of the wing of the Eindecker. And I'm going to make another pass at this blimp, and at the moment I think na it's pulled down, I'm actually going it crashed. And I strafed a bit. Okay. And that's it. That's my short video about the British Airco D.H.2, which I don't really like, pero I thought I'd share it to you kasi palagi na lang akong yung sino-showcase ko talaga for the past few years when it comes to Rise of Light are the German planes, no? The Central Powers. But this is a great way to introduce you to the British side of things. This is the Airco D.H.2 with a forward-firing machine gun, clear line of sight, pusher prop. Very nice aircraft, but I don't like it. But anyway, that's it for now. And I'm going to try and fly another British aircraft next time. Something more famous, perhaps. Kasi dati SPAD and now the Airco 2. Or actually, hindi. Try natin parang ForgottenWeapons.com style. Let's try to fly something which is uncommon, no? Para may intro. Thank you for watching.